have a big goal in your life, an intangible goal, emotional goal, then you are going to have conflict. You are going to have adversity. You are going to have circumstances. This may be the most important thing I will say to you today, is that there'll never be a circumstance on the outside of you that will ever help you or hurt you. It's what's on the inside that counts. So as you reach out for something big, why then you're going to have conflict, you're going to have adversity, and that's when the greatest law, and you've heard it talked about today, the greatest power you have comes into being. That's the power to choose. That is your greatest power. I talk about that so much that I think that pretty much the sum of your life right now is the sum of the choices that you've made. And that if you want something better out of life, it may be just as simple as changing some of the choices. But let me tell you, when you want a bigger bite out of life, then you're going to have adversity. And I'm saying it's not adversity, but the way you act to adversity.
Welcome to Road to Billions podcast, the mentality of an entrepreneur. With your host, Moise Bertrand.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It is your host, Moise Bertrand, the Road to Billions podcast. It's been an amazing journey, you guys, and I appreciate every last one of you guys who's been listening and tuning in, of course, on every episode. I wanted to put that intro in the beginning of this podcast episode because, a lot of us, many of us, if not all of us, I'm going to say that again, goes through adversity, right? And what happens is a lot of people get discouraged, whether they're starting something new or something they already started isn't going the way it's supposed to. And, that comes with the territory. I feel like if anything that lasts long was just given to you so quickly, you wouldn't appreciate the journey. And that's why I call this Road to Billions, because everything I do is a journey. Whether I start something as far as boxing, whether I do something as podcasting, whether I, flip houses, everything is a journey, right? You have to see yourself come from amateur to inexperienced to amateur to pro, right? And you have to look at yourself from beginner to advanced to intermediate to mastery. And those are journeys, right? Because every new step or every new level requires a different sense of critical thinking and also just a way of moving, right? You have to be able to deal with certain things that you weren't prepared for, you never dealt with. It doesn't mean that you're not made for it, it just means that you're prepared for it. I feel like situations happen to people that are prepared for it, and unless you do something to change that trajectory, then it's going to happen regardless, right? It was meant to happen. So I tell people all the time, like, it's not hard to stay consistent. It's hard in believing in why you should continue to be consistent, right? That's the only difference. A lot of people could be consistent all day if they knew what they were doing was going to actually be a guaranteed success. If I told you went to school for 4 years and did 4 years of that, you will be guaranteed to make this money. You wouldn't have to start from beginner salary to work your way. You will be guaranteed to work that exact job and get that salary. So I tell people, like, you have to go through different stages in life, and not only to experience and learn new lessons, but also to be a teacher, right? Because there's going to be someone who walks into your path one day and they're going to ask you a question that you ran already into the issue of, right? Whether I'm fixing a house and someone's like, hey, what do you do when someone's asking for 50% down of the deposit and everything? I'm like, well, it depends. Because I could give you my personal opinion and I could give you the by the book opinion, right? So, but I try to tell people my opinion doesn't matter because your experience is going to be different from mine. And that's facts. You feel me? Your journey is not going to be similar to the other person's journey or my journey or your parents' journey or your siblings' journey. Your journey is going to be specifically tailored for you. And the knowledge has to be compiled into other pieces of knowledge to continue your growth. And when that knowledge and experience stop, because you're going to always have different experiences, but I'm talking about positive experiences, things that's going to take you from point A to point B. You're going to now be stagnant. And you don't want to grow into stagnancy, right? So I tell people all the time, being okay with just going through the journey, going through the heartaches, going through the problems, going through the obstacles, going through, the frustrations, you got to go through all that. That's the beauty of the journey. Now, if I told you straight up real estate was a walk in the park, I would be lying to every last one of you guys. Real estate is probably the hardest thing I ever did in my life because it's always changing, right? Because you might be good at math or chemistry. That's already set in history. Things like that you can't reinvent. But real estate you can reinvent, and things are always reinventing themselves. So although the process is the same, not every situation is the same. Because a math question, all it's going to ask you is to remember old formulas, right? In real estate, you're going to have to remember 10 things at once. So if a house catches on fire, do you not think that the pipes are not going to be, affected as well? Now you got to think about the pipes. Now you got to think about everything else. You got to think about, drywall. Oh, shit. The wires, were they burnt too? Oh, fuck. The lights. Oh, damn. Now it's a lot of things all at once happening. Math questions or anything else is step by step. It's very easy to solve it, right? It might give you a little hard time, but for real estate, you're not going to be able to get no sleep. I can guarantee you that. So these are the situations I run across, situations that might make the ordinary person pass out. We go through these things, we built for it. Entrepreneurs, we built for it. Real estate investors, we've seen it, and we continue to see it. And for those who don't understand, like I document my journey all the time, telling you guys about certain things I kind of deal with in real estate and, certain situations where my rehabs aren't being done on time, or you have people giving me attitude and people prioritizing other people's jobs over mine, even though we have, already established agreements. Is a lot of things that you may not understand that goes on in this real estate world. That's kind of fucked up, right? And it's going to cause a lot of havoc if you don't know how to deal with it already. So I try to tell people, like, it's okay, go through the ups and downs. If you're trying to raise money for a project, go through a lot of no's. You get me? If you're trying to figure out how to start somewhere, don't get frustrated about people not putting you on. Don't get frustrated about people not sharing their resources because they might be coming from a place of survival, right? And also, you got to respect people. That's how people make their change. They have to protect what they believe is their income, and that's true. So you have to be able to understand that everybody went through a journey to get where they at, and some people are okay with sharing their experiences, resources, networks, communities, and some people just want to be very much sacred about everything they earned. You get me, over the years. But that just comes from experience. Like I said, I know a lot of great people who they built real estate empires just by themselves. They rather not work in a group. And I know people who work together in a group that can't stand themselves. They can't stand each other. So it's very contradicting and stuff like that. But I tell everybody, both of those people are going through problems. Both of those situations are going through, ups and downs. Because the person who's working solo, he may feel like he doesn't have enough help. And the person who's working in a group may feel like he should be doing things by himself. And then that's causing problems, and that's a whole nother situation. Now there's a lot of things going on. And then, like I said, when you're also a leader like myself, a lot of people are going to try to, in my opinion, override you, right? Try to evoke this type of authority. And I tell people, listen, I'm not that type of guy. I'm not going to sit here and bicker with you. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. I'm not going to sit here and, people be saying shit like tick for tack. I'm like, I don't do that tick for tack shit. Like, this is something that you create in your brain. I told you something, you didn't like it. I replied back. You said something, I gave you the same response. Now, that's considered tick for tack. That's called communication, people, and I want people to really understand that. But understand this, it's not something wrong with telling people what's on your mind. It's all about how you word it. It's all about how you communicate. And I feel like sometimes, every once in a while, you have to tell people what's on your mind, right? I feel like that's what balances you out as a person, because if you hold everything in, you're not really someone who is trustworthy, right? I can't trust you to tell me the truth on the spot. I can't trust you to trust yourself, right? You're going to be evoking all these feelings, and I'm not going to know where it's coming from. Whole time you're holding things in. So it's always good to let things out and just be respectful, man. You can tell people about themselves. I tell people about themselves all the time. You know, I'm not perfect, but I'm not going to let you think that what you say to me is appropriate. What you say to me is respectful. And you're going to go through those situations where people are going to try your demeanor. People's going to try your aura. People are going to try to, like, you know, like I told you before, try to override you. And you just got to know to set your boundaries. And, of course, stay true to your morals and principles. But most importantly, man, just understand why you being consistent. Like I mentioned to before, believe in why you're consistent, why you should be consistent, knowing that you may not be successful this year, the year after that, the year after that, or even the year after that. But if you stay consistent, in the back of your brain, you just got to program yourself to say, you know what? Every day is a new day, and today I could get rich. Every day is a new day, and today is probably the day I get rich. You would never know how you're going to get rich if you believe in riches, if you believe the abundance is made for you. You would never know when you're going to get rich. But you can make strides towards it. You can make the process a lot easier by jumping on that lane, jumping in that lane. You know, I'm already rich. I tell people all the time, they be like, where the cash at? The cash right here. They be like, where's that? I'm like, right here, I'm the cash. So everywhere I go, I know how to make money. I'm rich. I could walk down the park and I could see a dude walking his dog. And I could be like, man, your dog has a collar. Everybody keep chasing. Everybody refer to your dog. Your dog keep chasing people. Here's my belt. Give me $10. Man, my mama gave me that belt, man. I made $10. I just made $10 giving somebody my belt so they could wrap around the dog collar and walk the dog. And then, you feel me, dog don't have to worry about. That's a little simple trick you be asking yourself, damn, is it really that easy to make money? And that's only easy. It's only easy if you believe you can. That's why I always call myself rich. You get me? Eventually, I'm going to be walking around here M'd up, then double M'd up, then, you know, by good God graces, B'd up. You feel me? Billionaire status. So I definitely make strides towards the riches because I feel like I am already in that route. And I want you guys to also take that route. You get me? You can start today. You can start tomorrow. You can start whenever. But I always tell people, like, the minute you start is the minute you commit. And you're going to have ups and downs. It's not going to be a straight ship, straight rocket ship. Whenever you're achieving success, whenever you're trying to get things done, you're going to have to think outside the box. You're going to have to be very much consistent. You're going to have faith, right? That's one thing I try to tell people all the time. I have faith in everything I do. And I shout out to God, you feel me? Because he embedded this in me at a very young age. But knowing that I'm destined for greatness, I'm not somebody who's going to sit around and tell you, oh, I don't know what's my purpose. I know what's my purpose. My purpose is to speak to you guys while impacting the lives of those around me by giving them information, my resources, and healing. You know, people talk to me, and I can tell you straight up, they learn. People listen to me, and I can tell you straight up, they listen, they understand. Because, you know, I'm not somebody to be running around here saying bullshit. I do as I say, you know, and you guys can see that what I don't utter with my mouth, my actions may speak. And you guys see that. You see it in my podcast. You hear it. You see my Instagram. You see me consistently posting. It's not something for me to tell people, hey, look at me, what I'm doing. It's something for people to be like, I see what he's doing, and I respect it. So I appreciate every last one of you guys who's been supporting me from day one. You know, my birthday's in a few months, you know, Virgo season popping up. You know, Gemini season is right now in the works. And, you know, we're gonna move past this season ASAP, you know. But now, shout out to all the Geminis, man. Shout out to you guys. Happy birthday, belated birthday if you already had a birthday. And, you know, like I said, man, keep God first. Continue to put your faith in him. And when things may not be going right, know that things don't last long. You know, problems don't last long. Everything shall resume. You know, the storm shall pass. But most importantly, God, like I told you guys first and always, rate, review the podcast. And most importantly, shout out to God.